Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Welcome to Dig on America, where we speak truth to power. Every week, we give you the dig on how American history, policies, and media created the social and political issues we face today. DOA is independent media supported by listeners, but they'll tell you we're just fake news, deep state propaganda, funded by George Soros, the Clinton Foundation, BLM Marxists, and
Janis Joplin?
I was going to say Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, we both went musical today.
There you go.
That's nice. Of course, Janis Joplin is no longer with us and therefore unable to support the show. Or is she?
We lost another great today.
Who do we lose today?
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery is... I thought he died like a year ago.
No, he died today.
Oh, really?
In the Bahamas.
Why did I think he died like a year ago? That's weird.
October 30th. Oh, no, 2020. Hold on. Maybe she told me the wrong person.
Yeah. He's going to find out who died today, so we're getting some breaking news. But while Mikey tries to figure out who it is who died today, as those of you who are watching can see him yelling into the abyss, I just wanted to give a couple of shout outs to a couple of listeners who sent us some feedback. The first one is from Twitter, and this is a request from Asho Farouk. At
what up,
his Twitter handle. His Twitter handle is at leader_ashore. So leader ashore. He says, can you guys do a podcast on the aftermath of the gubernatorial elections and the mayoral? People want to speak up. Then he said it would be insightful. So also had a similar request from Cade Gower MN on Twitter, who says, was wondering if you guys would be interested in talking about Virginia and the other elections that just happened. So thank you to both of you for asking the same fucking question. So
she said it was the anniversary.
Oh, it was the anniversary of Sean Connery.
Yes.
Said, yeah. So the reason why I knew Sean Connery was dead is very odd. But if you recall that video that we played last year on Thanksgiving after the election on our bar night, where they had like the Avengers assemble and they superimpose like all of the, like Joe Biden's face over Captain America.
Oh yeah,
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Sean Connery was along with John McCain and who else? Someone else who had passed away was like Sean Connery was like over the Hulk, I think he was Rocket Raccoon actually. So who was sitting on the Hulk's shoulder. So that's the only reason why I remember that. John Lewis was the other one. So it was John McCain, John Lewis, and Sean Connery. How Sean Connery got on there, I have no idea. Like, I didn't even know he was political. But Kendrick Lamar here with us again today. Kendrick, thank you for your support of the show.
K-Dot in the building.
We also have another from Facebook. And I will read this one, which I idiotically put away by accident. Let's see here. If I can find this particular comment, because I turned it off. I'm not going to look for it for the whole time, but I'll paraphrase it. And it was from Captain America, like 2.0 or 2.2 or something like that.
It was on the Dig page.
Yeah, it was a message to the Dig on America Facebook page, and he said, I'll paraphrase here, was listening to your show, and heard it was your 4-year anniversary. Congratulations on that. Then he said, also happened to notice that your first show, based on what you said, must have posted within hours of the very first ever drop on 4chan from QAnon. Is there any relationship here, or have I stumbled onto something? The answer, I think, is clearly absolutely.
Obviously.
Yeah, you found us out. That was very astute.
We had a good run. We had a good run.
We had a very good run. So with that being said, we're signing off because also in lieu of in response to my Janis Joplin being dead support, QAnon today also suffered another fiery tragedy of a death. This from the Dallas Morning News. Today there was a QAnon rally in Dallas, and reading from the Dallas Morning News won't let me read their fucking website. Oh yes, they do. Okay. QAnon supporters gather in downtown Dallas expecting JFK and or JFK Jr. to reappear. Some believe the reappearance of John F. Kennedy's son, who died in a plane crash in 1999, will bring about the reinstatement of Donald Trump as president. Scores of QAnon believers, figured to be 400 to 500, gathered Tuesday afternoon in downtown Dallas in the hopes that John F. Kennedy Jr. and possibly, according to some, even JFK himself would appear, heralding the reinstatement of Donald Trump as president. The supporters first gathered Monday night late in downtown Dallas at about 1 p.m. There were several hundred people near Daley Plaza, where JFK was assassinated in 1963. Kennedy's son died in a plane crash in 1999 at the age of 38, along with his wife and sister-in-law. But some supporters of the QAnon conspiracy believe he has spent the last 22 years in hiding, apparently with Elvis and Tupac. They think he will reappear at the plaza before midnight on Tuesday. That was yesterday. And announced that he will be on the 2024 ticket as vice president I'm sorry, that's not true. He would be immediately reinstated and also on the 2024 ticket for re-election with Donald Trump. So a couple issues there. Wouldn't that count as 3 terms?
It doesn't matter, I guess, if you come back from the dead. You can just do whatever you want.
Poor Mike Pence.
Double jeopardy? Is that a
Do you
thing?
feel bad at all for Mike Pence?
Absolutely not.
I can't help but have this slight bit of sad pity for him.
No, I'm good.
I figured that you would be.
He's getting what's coming to him. I'm not upset. You can't sit there and allow monsters to run rampant and not this is what happened when good men do nothing. He might be a good man, but he did nothing. So that's why they came for you on the 6th. You shouldn't be aligned with him. Don't align yourself with shitbags. You don't have to worry about the unwashed, crazed masses coming for you.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Oh, by the way, those that didn't notice, Big Haas not with us tonight. We do have a guest joining us in the next hour or in the second hour of the show, a conservative author, Ashley Rinsberg. So he doesn't promote himself as a conservative, but I looked at his Twitter feed and I see who he follows, so it's pretty easy to tell. And his book is on the New York Times and basically talking about how the New York Times has a problem with disinformation, which I think we probably would agree with, but I think the whys are going to be different. But anyway, so we'll get to Ashley when he gets here. In the meantime, Mikey, can you give us, seeing as we have been outed as the original proprietors of QAnon, can you just give right now the next prediction? What's the next date?
Well, at first I want to address the allegations. That's just what Q wants you guys to think, right? See, this is all, it's a triple, quadruple cross. Q continues to release stuff on our anniversaries because Q wants you to think that we're Q. See how deep this gets? We're not even actually Q, but Q is so good at being Q that you think that we're Q. You gotta wake up. You gotta open that third eye, man. You gotta open up that pineal gland, man. That's the only way.
I might push against that a little bit because I think if he's really that good, we might actually be Q without knowing that we're Q. We're subconsciously Q.
We've been cute. It's like the Sixth Sense.
We are Q, but we're John Delancey Q.
I love him. He's a treasure.
Can we agree on that? We are John Delancey Q.
And you know what the second coolest thing about John Delancey is, aside from being Q in Star Trek?
What's that?
Atheist.
Wait, but he himself is God.
Is he?
Isn't he?
Won't he?
Why?
When was he?
I'll do you one better.
Why is Gamora? That's what I was trying to get. We just watched that the other day, and then we just watched Endgame again.
Endgame is good every time I watch it, and I've seen it 8 or 9 times.
Is there a specific reason why I hate Ant-Man?
Because Paul Rudd just has a punchable face.
Is that what it's something about Paul Rudd? I just don't like him, and I don't know why.
He's very sockable.
I don't know. He doesn't look like he belongs in movies. Maybe that's what it is. He just kind of looks like a normal dude that just kind of wandered onto the set, found the costume, and he's just going with it. He doesn't.
He wasn't even cast.
Yeah, like he's just like the dude who was standing in, and then they just like
they cast Leonardo DiCaprio, but he just showed up, and then the movie was over, and Leo showed up, and he was like, "What's going on here?"
You got ScarJo and Chris Pratt and fucking Helmsworth. They're all showing up. And then here comes this motherfucker. I'm just like, why are you here? What? You are not a movie star. You get out of here. Kick rocks, dude.
I do like I don't have anything against Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is, I'm sure, a very decent human being. Oh, and I'm getting messages here. So let me make sure the ringer's turned off. So now that we are here, let me do that away from here so we don't get the now that we are outed as Q, I will make a prediction.
Okay.
Trump
will
be back in office. Not with JFK Jr. We found out that he actually was dead. But with Amelia Earhart.
I can't.
And they will take office on Valentine's Day with a new constitution already ratified by all 50 states, including California.
I'm telling you right now, all this Q shit is just bolstering my case to move to Canada. Like, you guys are just making this easier and easier.
Hey, there's QDA too. QNDA. QDA.
No,
that's QAnon is big in Canada, sir.
Yeah, I'm with Canadian Island Man, my brother from Prince Edward's Island. WTF is what he says. I can't.
Well, I can't. I'm sorry. He doesn't like it. But February 14th, get ready. When you buy your chocolates and roses for your bestie, your best girl or your best guy, you'll be doing so under a new president, because at noon that day he'll be in office. So, and with Amelia Earhart, nonetheless. So, yeah.
You're gonna be in a post. You're gonna be in a post office buying stamps with his ancient ass.
All right. So yesterday's elections, a couple of really crazy things happened. So this Youngkin guy, Ralph Northam, didn't run for re-election in Virginia, or he did, and he got primaried by the former governor, who was governor from 2013 to 2017. He was the Democrat was favored to win, but this Bruce Youngkin guy upset him after the fucking Lincoln Project sent out some guys dressed as tiki torch bearers, one of whom was black, and just stood there with tiki torches.
He always got one.
And I guess they were supposed to be reminding people about Charlottesville, because it was like an anniversary of that date, maybe, or I don't know why they chose that day. But I think it kind of backfired. Did you see that? Are you familiar with that story?
Oh no, dude. After the cruise, it's hard for me to catch up on fucking news stories. It is hard.
Yeah, well, this one you could have lived without. So basically, what Lincoln Project did is they hired 4 or 5 guys. One was actually a woman, I believe. A couple were white guys, and there was a black guy. They dressed them up in the white polo shirts with the khaki pants, gave them hats and tiki torches, and they went out there and they stood in front of this. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Yonklin's bus. And people photographed him. The opposing Democrat had no idea. He just thought it was really going on. He hadn't been notified by Lincoln Project of what was happening. And took pictures of it and tweeted it. And then the Lincoln Project took credit for it the next day and said, oh, that was us. We sent them there. They weren't really associated with the Republicans' campaign. What the fuck are you doing, Lincoln Project? Like, they've done some good stuff, but like, this just goes to show that they don't know what the fuck is really going on. That was in terrible taste.
Yeah, I mean, why don't let a good tragedy go to waste? I mean, that poor girl got ran the fuck over by a bunch of fucking crazy people. So,
okay, so CDN Ali, man, I didn't mean 2022. I meant 2021.
but it
Go
already happened.
figure that out.
It already happened.
Go figure that out, Ali, man. You just didn't realize it. So you're fucked, buddy. Okay.
He's the president of Canada too.
He is.
United Canadian States of North America.
Yeah. So JFK Jr. not back. The Tiki Torch Bearers not doing very well, but the elections yesterday. So Virginia now has a Republican governor. I haven't seen the final tallies in New Jersey, who was the only other state that had a gubernatorial election yesterday. Though the Democrat incumbent was up slightly.
Murphy,
we'll have to see.
Murphy won.
We'll have to see. Oh, he did? The Democrat? Okay.
Yeah.
So he did end up winning. I didn't see that he had actually officially won yet, but I guess they projected him the winner. So a lot of people are talking about this being a barometer for 2024. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'd like to get your thoughts. What do you think?
No, that's not how that shit works, because when it comes to, like, let's just take Illinois, for example. What voters in Illinois care about statewide is not how they vote in the national election. It's two very different things, because you can have a Republican, if you're a lefty or whatever, you can have a Republican governor who isn't terrible, right? Like, so it's not the party affiliation isn't quite as dire for a lot of states. So I don't know if they would translate over the entire country for people who are, but a Democrat wins, so then now that state's going to go blue. I mean, I don't know that that's the case. I just don't see that as the case, because there's so many itty bitty small local issues that have to be voted on, and that people like would actually care and vote for their governor about, that they're not going to, that stuff doesn't translate onto the national stage. I don't think.
Did we find out if Tim won?
Let me double check. He didn't say anything, so I'm guessing no.
He probably lost because of fraud, of course.
Obviously. Well,
yeah.
We were sending him money from. Nah, let me not even joke. Let me not even joke.
The deciding vote was a cheddar grilled cheese sandwich, and it didn't like the guy who was going to eat them, so or sell it.
They had to throw out a bunch of votes. Like, I'm sorry, sir, you got to vote for Mr. Pepper Jack. Hold on now.
Tim, why are all your votes on white bread? Grilled triangular shaped white bread. Explain this to us.
That's a brioche. Should count for 2 votes.
There's 2 sides to the sandwich, so it counts as 2 votes.
But 2
they only
open-faced sandwiches, not 1 sandwich.
Yes, but if you open face it, then it counts as 2, and they only count it as 1, so they have to do a recount all of the artisan bread. And then we'll see. But hopefully Tim did win. All right. So the bigger, to me, story when it comes to these elections yesterday, New York has its first African-American mayor, which is cool. But Buffalo, did you see what happened in Buffalo?
Mm-mm.
So India Walton
Maybe I did hear about
is a socialist. She's a member of the Socialist Party, and she won the Democratic primary back a few months back, putting her on the ticket as the Democratic nominee in Buffalo, which is a highly a very robust blue area. She ran, I believe there was also a Republican on the ballot, but the former mayor, whose name is, I believe, Byron Brown,
Yes,
who's also a black guy, he, for whatever that's worth, he ran, he still ran as a write-in candidate and fucking won. What the actual fuck? So the person who won the primary lost a blue area to the write-in incumbent? Are you fucking serious?
that's so. So is this what would have happened if Bernie won the primary and then Hillary still ran as a write-in? Like, is that how that's what, you know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, you have to, if you lose your party's election, you should back them and concede, not just go behind their back and say, all right, everybody, just fuck it, just write me in. Like, how does that even work? Like, how does she lose the votes?
Well, probably what happened is all the Republicans and moderates who didn't vote in the primary came out and voted in the general and wrote him in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because they knew the Republican wasn't going to win.
Right. But they didn't want her.
But they didn't want her because she wants health care too badly. Like, we only want people who tell you they want single payer, but won't actually do anything for it. They don't want people who are actually going to try to put policy into place to give you single payer. Now, I don't know India Walton's platform backwards and forwards. I'm not in Buffalo. There could be something I don't know about here. But on the surface, she's a socialist. That's a political party. It's nothing to be afraid of. So fucking what? And you're so terrified of that because of the stereotype of socialists, which we'll get to in the dig in a minute, that you're going to vote in. You literally got more people to write someone's name in than they did to check the box that was there.
Yeah,
that is astonishing.
He won 51-49. He won by 10,000 votes.
Is that not astonishing?
I haven't heard of that happening before. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that has got to be. But you're probably right though. If Bernie had won the nomination, they probably would have put in Hillary.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a Twitter Spaces yesterday, talking with a couple of candidates, and people were giving them all these suggestions as to like get with their precinct captains and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, I'm not saying don't talk to your precinct captain, but like every time you get these more further left candidates, the left and the middle does not support them. The Democratic Party and the DNC and the DCCC will go to great lengths to do whatever they can to sabotage people further to the left. But the right wing, if you have a far right candidate, they just look the other way.
Yeah. Hold their nose.
Hold their nose and vote because, pro-life. And like, yeah, I get that. Like, I don't know that much about Byron Brown. He could be fine, but he's clearly a corporate Democrat. Like, you saw this in Ohio with Nina Turner. Nina Turner was winning that election, that special election for Congress in Ohio back in, what was it, August or whatever. She was winning and supposed to win by a mile. And then Chantel Brown comes out of nowhere, a corporate Democrat with corporate ties. And at the last second, the DCCC throws all their weight behind her, and Nina Turner loses. And again, I'm not saying Nina Turner would have been a good congressman or not. I don't agree with everything she says. But she's clearly got railroaded by her own party.
And that's one thing that's like, especially for people my age and younger, it's very disheartening. And it makes you really kind of like lose faith and kind of fall out of love with the entire process and with the way our government is structured. Because what am I voting for? Because if big pharma or big oil or whoever decides that person is out, they're gonna find a way to get them out. Whether they have to, like in Shahid's case, where they have to make up trumped up charges, or they have to, whatever they have to do, that's what's going to happen so that their guy gets in every time. And it's like, dude, how many fucking decades do we have to keep playing this fucking ring around the rosy game? Like, it's not that it's getting harder and harder for me to care about politics or to stay as active in politics, because everywhere I look, it's the same old shit where money wins every election. Like, there's very few stories that you hear about nowadays where the little guy wins. It just doesn't happen anymore.
And to reinforce your point, the Democratic Party on national and local levels is far quicker to sabotage progressives, socialists, even guys who, like me, probably, who would be just a little bit, too dangerous for them, not interested in accepting PAC money, etc., that they will throw them under the bus and then back the bus up again and make sure that they got the kill, while at the same time running cover and carrying water for their dear Republican friends. Like Joe Manchin is not a Democrat. Joe Manchin he might be socially liberal, but fiscally, he's as conservative as they get. And we keep hearing about how he's a moderate, but he's literally holding up policy, him and Kristen Sinema.
That's why like centrist and moderate like always ring false to me, because that's what you get when someone says, oh, they're a moderate. It's like, no, you'll just say whatever you need to make the left happy, but then you're just going to take all the right's money. And then eventually, once you get in office, you're going to vote with them anyway. So like, that's why like I always hated moderate, because moderate just means I'm going to vote Republican. Well, like there's very few moderates that what I'm saying, will play both sides of the fence and will play it right down the middle. And I think this on this thing and that on that thing. It's always, I'm in the middle. Oh, I'm in office. Okay, I'll just give the right all of my votes. And it's like, well, what the fuck? No, you're not.
I mean, I think that you're probably right, though my personal definition of a moderate or a centrist is that you're not going to pick, like I previously identified as a centrist, but like people thought I was something that I wasn't. So I stopped identifying as a centrist, but I still think of myself as that, right? Because a moderate / centrist, we'll use the term moderate for this purpose, but a moderate means you want to get something done and you're willing to work with the other side to do it. But that doesn't mean that you are not as like for example, with healthcare, I could identify as a moderate because I'm pro-gun, but also pro-universal healthcare. Like I could be all the way to the right on that, on guns, and all the way to the left on healthcare. To me, that's what a moderate would be. It doesn't mean that you're soft on the issues. It just means that you don't pick from the column of blue or red. You pick on what sounds right to you.
I mean, if we got Sweet on here or Tim or somebody, they probably have like the actual definitions of all that stuff. We can't be bothered to find like, I don't know, fancy adding machines with screens to tell us what the exact definitions of those things are. So I think our colloquial definitions will suffice. And that I don't think anyone's ever been super bothered, because that's how the average person is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I think everyone should be able to have healthcare, but yeah, I also like to have guns in my house. Like, that's not an uncommon thing for people to have.
Right.
Like people on the left own plenty of guns, but the people on the left also don't want everybody to have every gun. So that turns into you don't want any gun. And it's like, well, that's not exactly what motherfuckers are saying, but that's
no, you don't need a rocket launcher or 36 AR-15s. You just don't need that.
You don't need a 500 drum a drum
of ammo.
Canister. Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need a clip that big unless you're going to do some shit, right? Like, there's no other reason to have it. But they think, like, the right wing will defend it and say, well, but when the government comes after me, I'm going to need that clip. No, you're not, because they're going to drone strike your house and you're not even going to know.
Exactly.
You know, this is not Die Hard. You're not being attacked by ninjas like Bruce Willis. Okay.
Do you know something about the zombie apocalypse that we don't?
Hey, if that comes, I'm in. I'm coming to your house. But until then, you can piss off.
So hold on. Tim responded back. I said, how did the election go? He said, I got crushed. Big Republican turnout. I said, damn. He said, I got over 150 more votes than 2 years ago and lost. I was like, you'll get them next time. He's like, yeah, I got to find out what happened. I think we had some Dems vote red. I got some Trump hate too. I got the let's go other person's name. I don't want to put him out there because fuck him. He won. Let's go this dude chant and called a soy boy.
Well, that part's accurate. But
I'm gonna say, well, you do love soy.
Yeah. Yeah, the soy boy part is completely accurate, Tim. So but anyway, that's not a reason not to vote for you. Here's the idea, Tim. And Tim, for those who don't know what we're talking about, a friend of ours, friend of the show, was on the show last week, ran for office, city council, in Stratford, Connecticut, and we just found out that he lost yesterday. But hey, next time run as a Republican, Tim, and then do a flip ski like that guy from New Jersey.
Just be a really bad Republican. Just be really, really bad at it.
Yeah, just say that you're a fucking, that abortion is murder and that you want 1,000 guns in your house. You'll win the election, and then as you're sworn in, say, "Is JFK Jr. here? Oh, he's not. I got fooled. I changed my mind. I'm a Democrat now."
So I said, well, you do love soy. And he says, yeah, not even close to what that means, LOL.
All right. So we have a guest
better luck next time
here. Better luck next time. You can run for president of Dig on America. I'd
vote
so
for
real quick, let's get into this dig. So I did the dig today on Stereotype. So while Mikey gets the banner up, this is going to be a little bit of a different dig. It's I
forgot we had that.
What? Yep.
The message bag.
It's okay. We did the message bag though. We put it
over.
Hold on, let's go in the Trump time machine.
Oh, gross.
Okay, done. All right.
Smells like Cheetos.
We'll have Ant-Man do it. Paul Rudd, get over here and go back and
smells like Cheetos and Big Macs in here. I hate it. Smells like a well done steak with ketchup.
My inspiration for this was I watched the first episode of the Kaepernick show on Netflix. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. It's sort of like a documentary about Kaepernick's life, and there was some kind of weird framing of a couple of things, and like I always wonder where they get these white actors to play these super vile people.
Well, I mean, you don't have to look too far. Just kind of tap in.
But are you going to tell them, hey, you know what, just go out there and be yourself? Or are you going to, I would think there would be people who agree with you socially who will be in your show and then pretend to be their dad.
I mean, that's what they're just like, all that stuff Uncle Larry always says at Thanksgiving. That's what I really need you to tap into on this. I need you to be Uncle Larry.
I need you to tap into your Leonardo DiCaprio from Django. Okay. I need you to do that for me.
Still haven't seen it.
But all right, so today's dig is going to be on stereotypes. So we'll have a short discussion about that, and about by the time we're done, we'll probably have our guests here. So now, in my 8th grade social studies class, my teacher, Mr. Humble, taught me things that it turns out, after doing my own research, wasn't exactly the whole story. And this week we will dive into the topic of stereotypes. So I got a whole bunch of different. This is sort of a clusterfuck this week because I put it together quick, but it's good info. Social psychology defines a stereotype as a generalized belief about a particular category of people. This particular definition is from Wikipedia. It is an expectation that people might have about every person of a particular group. The type of expectation can vary. It can be, for example, an expectation about the group's personality, preferences, appearance, or ability. Stereotypes are sometimes overgeneralized, inaccurate, and resistant to new information, but can sometimes be accurate. For example, that St. Louis Cardinals fans are all inbred hillbillies.
I don't have my Cardinals banner. I was about to throw it up and curse you out. So that's on me.
While such generalizations about groups of people may be thought useful when making quick decisions.
I'm sorry, Dutch. Can you speak up? There's all these pennants blowing in the wind. It's hard to hear you. It's really hard. It's just some static from the wind.
Ah, yes. They stereotypes may be erroneous when applied. And by the way, there you go. When applied to particular individuals, and are among the reasons for prejudice-based attitudes. Britannica says that the most common kinds of stereotypes are rationally unsupported generalizations about characteristics of all or nearly all members of a given social group. Most people learn many stereotypes during childhood. Once they become accustomed to stereotypical thinking, they may not be able to change them without intense social reconditioning. The term stereotype comes from the French adjective stereotype, and derives from the Greek word stereos, which means firm, solid, and impression. Hence, solid impression on one or more theories or ideas. The term was first used in the printing trade in 1798 by Firmin Diot. It's what literally his name is an anagram for idiot, to describe a printing plate that duplicated any type of typography. The duplicate printing plate, or the stereotype, is used for printing instead of the original. Outside of printing, the first reference to stereotype was in 1850, a noun that meant image perpetrated without change. However, it was not until 1922 that stereotype was first used in the modern psychological sense by American journalist Walter Lippmann in his book Public Opinion. Author Brad Stoddard notes our culture is full of popular stereotypes about religion, both positive and negative. He gives the example. Many people uncritically assume that religion is intrinsically violent, while others, on the contrary, that religion is the key to making people moral. Some common religious stereotypes were that the Puritans were often dismissed as drably clothed religious zealots who were hostile to the arts and eager to impose their rigid morality on the world around them. This stereotypical view is almost wholly incorrect. Contrary to much popular thinking, the Puritans were not sexual prudes. Other stereotypes are that Muslims are violent and that Jews are working behind the scenes as part of a global cabal hell-bent on profit, most similar to the Ferengi in Star Trek.
You force your women to wear clothing? Disgusting.
Or the Asian Trade Federation in Star Wars Episode 1. In fact, the current visual representation of the devil is based on a Jewish caricature. Horns, long nose, devil, etc. Historian, not saying Jews actually have those features. I'm talking about the character. Historian Dave Cockrell once noted that poor and working class whites who felt squeezed politically, economically, and socially from the top, but also from the bottom, invented the minstrel shows as a way of expressing the oppression that marked being members of the majority, but outside of the white norm, i.e. white trash. Minstrels, which were comedic performances of blackness by whites in exaggerated costumes and makeup, cannot be separated fully from the racial stereotyping at its core. By distorting the features and cultures of African American, including their looks, language, dance, and character, white Americans were able to codify whiteness across class and geopolitical lines as its antithesis. The social injustices experienced by women in the creative industries have been brought into the world's attention by the high-profile Me Too and Time's Up campaigns. The stereotypes of male homosexuals as weak and feminine, and of lesbians as masculine and aggressive, which have been widespread in the West, especially from the 60s through the 80s, and still remain to this day. Also, according to what's the website here that I got this from? I just want to make sure I cite this correctly. The Conversation. Gays are either depicted as drug addicts or as rich liberals, ignoring the rest of the spectrum. That was weird, right? Republicans are stereotyped as both rich racists and as poor trailer trash racists. Liberals as un-American, communist, having no morality, but also being lazy, and at the same time as lazy, stereotyped on the other hand as being uneducated generational elites. The website She's the People notes that hairstyle, especially in women, this is something that the Kaepernick show talked about, are almost always stereotyped, women's hairdos. English dailies and social media have taken a keen interest in Ivanka Trump's latest haircut, and this was from 2019, which they were described as a political bob, and how it could be interpreted as, or how it was widely interpreted as a nod to Ivanka's growing ambitions. Haven't you noticed? There's a way each kind of woman is expected to wear her hair so that it helps others categorize her. It doesn't matter what her own intentions to wear her hair a certain way may have been. It's the perception that people think. They also note that short hair is now thought of as the haircut of the Karen. Well, that's clearly true.
Well, the pixie cut, I mean, I think they have a patent on that, if I'm being honest.
White men with long hair are cast as social outcasts, while black men with braids or afros are thought of as dangerous thugs, and Italians with slicked back hair as mobsters. Perhaps most damaging is that stereotype can often lead people to expect certain actions from members of social groups. These stereotype-based expectations may lead to self-fulfilling prophecies in which one's inaccurate expectations about a person's behavior prompt that person to act in stereotypical, consistent ways.
Hold on, let me pause right there.
Sure.
It's kind of like how there is the stereotype that, those inner city blacks are the ones committing all the crimes. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus all the cops on them. It's like, well, then all you're really doing is making sure that all of the crimes that the black people are committing are caught by the police, whilst you're leaving all the white people to do whatever the hell they want. They could be committing far more crimes, but you'd have no idea because you're not there. So you have thus created a self-fulfilling prophecy where the black people are criminals because we police them. Do you police anybody else? No, we have to police them because they're the criminals. Well,
yeah, that's the other side of the coin. In fact, so you're allowing me to skip a paragraph. This particular paragraph was talking about people who believe the stereotypes about their own group, and then those stereotypes prompt the person to act in ways consistent with that stereotype, thus conforming one's other people's erroneous expectations, and of course validating the stereotype. You see this all the time. Well, if black guy's caught doing a robbery, well, he was a black guy, of course he was doing a robbery. Of course that's false. In social psychology, a stereotype is any thought widely adopted about specific types of individuals or certain ways of behaving intended to represent the entire group or those behaviors as a whole. These thoughts or beliefs may or may not accurately reflect reality. Across other disciplines, different conceptualizations and theories of stereotyping exist, at times sharing commonalities with social psychology and other times containing contradictory elements. In closing, there are two types of main stereotypes in social psychology. An explicit stereotype refers to stereotypes that one is aware of, that they hold, and is aware that one is using to judge people. In other words, if person A is making judgments about a particular person from group B, and person A has an explicit stereotype for group B, their decision on how to treat the person from group B which is called decision bias, can be flawed. You also have implicit stereotypes, which are more common, and those implicit stereotypes lay on individuals' subconsciouses, and they have no control or awareness of them. So there is the dig. I could have put a lot more into there, but I wanted to keep it somewhat short.
There's one more thing I want to throw in there. Stereotypes are always typically seen as negative, but they're also positive stereotypes where it's not so much demeaning the people, but you think higher of a certain group of people because of X, Y, or Z. So like everyone assumes that Asians are great at math. Everyone assumes that Black people can all dunk a basketball and play drums and bass. Like everyone assumes all of these things, and they're not necessarily negative. Like it's not a pejorative to say that someone is intelligent or well studied or a great performer or amazing athlete, but it is a stereotype, even if it's not derogatory.
Yeah, let's look at Big Haas. So he's too short to dunk, right? He's never done drugs. I think I'd beat him in a race. And he's never been in a gang. So is he even Black?
Well, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, then you ain't Black.
You know, so you've got the stereotypes on one side, you got the stereotypes on the other. I don't think Haas plays drums either. So he can't rap, but he also hasn't killed anyone.
He might be able to rap.
Well, anyone can rap, but can you do it good is the question.
Here we go. Here we go with the same pissing contest.
So here's my question to you. What in your life, like what is there a time when, is there a particular stereotype that you think has been attributed to yourself? And I'll tell you, like the stereotype that when I first met you that I got of you was, and I remember thinking this for a long time, and I'm not saying it's not true, but you wear glasses, so I assumed you must be a nerdy smart guy.
Yeah, it's not wrong. It is a stereotype.
You don't look particularly dangerous.
I look very approachable to maybe to someone like you, but when I'm just out and I just got my do-rag on and my cat backwards like that, I don't get the good mornings and how you doing? How's it going? What's going on? I don't get all that shit. They just be click. And it's so funny. Like going into the mall or something like that, or going to like Walmart or something like that. Just I go and walking with my wife, I hear the click, 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 doop, doop, click, click. Everyone just locking their doors as I go past. I'm like, okay, really? Just because I'm in some gray sweatpants. That was for you ladies. Just because I'm rocking out with some
see the outline.
just because I'm in some bum clothes, it doesn't mean that I'm poor and destitute and looking to rob somebody. I'm just walking into the store, but I always get the doors locked and all that stuff. So there's that. Not everyone thinks all Black people are or Black people with glasses are just necessarily innocent from rip. And my hair is long, and I wear it in a ponytail. So
here's one thing I wanted to ask you. So, well, actually, I also, have had stereotype, like especially when I was overweight, I got stereotyped a lot. It's like, oh, he must just be unhealthy or something like that. Like, I was doing my best to stay healthy, going to the gym and stuff like that. I just like to eat, motherfucker. So
food tastes good.
Yeah, food tastes fucking good, right? I want that extra slice of Lou Malnati. Who wouldn't? But also on the other side, like when I went to go work at Amazon over the winter, I worked a temporary job over the winter at Amazon at the warehouse in Bakersfield. And my very first day there at the overnight shift, I noticed all of the managers are white. Like maybe not all, but probably 95% of the managers are white. But 95% of the employees were Hispanic. Easily. So I was like, so then I got a stereotype from a few people that I must be like a failure. Okay. But then on the other hand, my very first day there, one of the managers walked up to me and was like, tell me about yourself.
Right.
You work hard here, you can move up quick. He came up to me and only me. Now, in his defense, he may have said to someone else and I didn't hear it, but I certainly didn't see it. And I was in a group of like 9 people who all started that day. I was the only white guy there. Why did you walk up to me? I know why you walked up to me.
Right.
Maybe the guy didn't do it like to be like sinister. Maybe he didn't realize he was being prejudiced and that he was working off stereotype. And maybe he did. I don't know. I can't speak to what was going on in that guy's head, but he did it explicitly or implicitly.
But I think like the larger conversation, I think, and this kind of brings out, like, especially with stereotypes, it feeds into and it narrates people's implicit biases. Like he felt like, oh, well, this guy's probably just down on his luck and I could help him move ahead. Let me do what I can for him. Or they just see me walking down the fucking parking lot and they think, oh, well, let me lock this door up. I don't want to have a carjacking situation.
He might be down on his luck and want to take my car.
Right. So but that's all of these stereotypes is what feeds into why officers react certain ways to some people and other ways to other people. Like they don't automatically assume that the white kid with the fucking Supreme t-shirt and the fucking, you know what I'm saying, just looks like a little normal ass teenager versus a broke black kid or a broke Mexican kid. They don't assume that the white kid's doing anything wrong when they get called to a scene. There must be some misunderstanding, but they're already got tasers and guns out when it comes to the black and brown kids. And that's part of stereotypes. That stereotype has fed their implicit bias. It has given them the confirmation that it needs to hold on to some thought, even if there's no actual facts behind it.
Yeah. And it's I do want to move this to one other place real quick too, but if you've ever, like, if you're a white guy and you've been in the car with a black guy when you're pulled over by the police.
Oh my God.
Obviously you've never done that because, well, maybe you've been pulled over with a white guy and noticed some difference, but like but from the white perspective, it's clearly different, right? Like I didn't get searched, but Jermaine did. Now, as it turned out, Jermaine had an 8-ball in his pocket, but that was one of the instances. And there were probably 5 or 6 other times I was pulled over with black people in my car, and like that one was a little bit more extreme, but the rest of the time, like I didn't even get searched.
I got searched. Right,
you know what I mean? I've been searched before. I'm not saying I haven't been searched. They've searched my car before, but that particular time they didn't. So
quick 2-minute story. So we were watching the Hawks in the playoffs at my buddy's house over in Bolingbrook, and we're
the
all
Blackhawks or the Atlanta Hawks.
Blackhawks. Oh yeah, I forgot. In Chicago, we don't call them Blackhawks. We just call them the Hawks. So we're watching the game, and the game ends, and we're all fucking starving. There's no food in the house, so everyone fucking throws in $10, and we're gonna go get a couple of crave cases from White Castle. So I'm driving.
Yummy and farty.
Hell yeah. So me and my buddy are gonna go out and go grab the stuff. I hop in the car. He hops in the car. he conveniently didn't have his money. You know that motherfucker who always forgets his fucking wallet?
Yeah.
I said, fuck that shit. No.
Turk.
drove to his house. I was like, no. We're stopping. We can go to your house. You can go get your wallet, and then you can fucking put in your part on this shit too. Nice try, motherfucker. Apparently, a cop saw me turn and then immediately come back out and pulled me over and said, why are you avoiding me? I was like, I didn't even know you were behind me. He went to go get his wallet. We're going to go with some White Castles. Have you been drinking tonight? I was like, I don't know what that has to. Well, I need you to do a field sobriety test, and I need to search your car and all this stuff. So it was fucking January in Chicago. It's fucking 20 degrees outside. It was the worst half hour ever. I didn't bring my fucking coat because I didn't plan on getting out of the fucking car. It was just all around fucking shitty and stupid. And he was just like, that was so fucking unnecessary. He's like,
Yeah.
you didn't even like speed or anything like that. So why did you pull? I was like, it's like, your guess is as fucking good as mine.
You were clearly avoiding the cop, man. Come on. I mean, everyone knows.
So I can't make more than one stop on a trip. I have to go from point A.
No, you go from point A to point B. Look, last week
there can't be a
you chastised me and you said, I don't have a hall pass. Did I have a reason to go in the hallway? I didn't. You didn't have a reason to turn around.
That motherfucker tried to get me to pay for his White Castle.
Did you have a turnaround pass? Did you have a turnaround pass, sir? No, you did not, sir.
Did he have a pass to make me pay for his White Castles? No, the fuck he did not. So
it's called the badge.
Fuck that shit. We're going back over there to get your fucking wallet. And that got me pulled over and searched because I was such a criminal element.
So here's the question I have for you as we still await our guest. Clothing. So this kind of falls in with hairstyles a little bit, but like I think that a hairstyle and clothing, I'm a little bit less on this on hairstyle, but on clothing, for example, like I think that you do get a little bit of you like to call it bail, I'll call it elbow room, when people dress a certain way to be able to stereotype them in a certain way. Like, for example, if someone wears a Trump shirt, right? Mm-hmm. I get to make certain assumptions based on that. If you wear a Green Day shirt, I can probably assume that you've smoked a joint in your day. Maybe you didn't, but like there are certain assumptions where you might be able to get some sort of accuracy on that, especially if it's like if you're just right now you're wearing a black shirt. Mm-hmm. I really can't assume too much on that, but like, there are certain things that you could wear. Like if you were wearing a 3-piece suit, I would have like you were dressing like Alan Ellison up in here. Or if you're wearing a Wu-Tang hoodie, I think, that the people will take those things differently. Now, I don't think it should go too far, but I do think that you get a little leeway when it comes to, how people dress. Would you? Because I think people do that on purpose.
When it comes to stereotyping people?
Yeah, I think that generally can be a little bit less damaging.
Well, I mean, that's an explicit form of your self-expression. So like,
right.
It's not like you have a Trump shirt one day, like your closet is set up Sunday through Saturday. And on this day, I have to wear this shirt. And on this day, I have to wear this shirt. Well, you choose your clothing every day. So, and you buy the clothing that you feel reflects things you like and things that you believe in, which is totally fine by my book. But I mean, at the same time, if you're wearing a Trump shirt or you're wearing a COVID is a hoax shirt, I'm not going to think you're too intelligent. And it's going to be hard for you to convince me otherwise. I mean, because you're literally expressing yourself. Like you're especially if there's words on t-shirts and stuff like that. Like I usually wear stuff without words on it just because I want people to talk to me to figure out what I'm about. So I generally have a lot of solid color stuff, or it's just like pictures or something like that. And you can kind of take from it what you will, but it's very rare that you'll see me wearing like a Biden 2024 shirt or something like that's just not my style.
I hope that you wouldn't wear a Biden 2024 shirt. In fact, I don't even know if they sell those, but
they're definitely not printing them.
No, but I think that, like, so, you know, if someone shows up to a job interview with a hoodie on, then I would make a pretty strong assumption based on stereotype of that this guy just probably doesn't give a shit. I mean, maybe if it's a job at McDonald's or like a warehouse job or something, maybe that's acceptable. Though I do think that you have to look more at the person rather than the clothes, and maybe that's an antiquated way of thinking of stuff. But like, I do think that when you go on a job interview, you should, you know, maybe not as much for an internal interview as an external interview, but I think that you should put some effort into that.
No, you should lie is what you should do. You should just lie. Your job is to get the job. So whatever they need you to see, they want to see you in a suit with a tie. Yeah, wear that shit, and then fucking put on some fucking sweatpants and show up on Monday morning. Fuck them. I got the job now, bitches. Or come in.
What about
with a polo and some khakis?
What about regional stereotypes?
I mean,
like, people. My wife always says people from the Midwest are like, you know, you've got this cocky, arrogant Midwest attitude about it. And I don't know that that's like,
that's kind of true.
Accurate.
That's kind of
well, yeah, but are people from Boston and New York not cocky and arrogant? Are people from Florida
they might have
cocky and arrogant?
They might have that. Well, I don't know about Florida, but I know New York, they might have that same stigma too. Like I'm walking here and all that bullshit that they have to fucking deal with. But yeah, like people in Chicago and like the Midwest, we don't generally take a lot of shit from people. Like we don't have that, oh, bless your heart. We're like, no, fuck you, motherfucker. Like we're ready to fucking do that. But that's us. Like not everybody's like that. Like you're from here. Like do people tend to seem to have the same I'll go at any moment attitude like Chicagoans do? Because Chicagoans will fucking drop their fucking shit in a hot second and fucking throw down or have the scrap or the argument. Like, we're ready for that at all points. Is that the case in California? Do people do that there?
Weird, because it's different. In California, the first thing that I noticed when I moved to California was that, like, if I walk into a business and I do outside sales a lot, so, or I did I still do, but it's not the same now, but at the time I would go into a lot of mid-sized, you know, corporate environments. And there in Chicago, if you walked in there and you weren't in a suit and tie, you weren't getting the time of day. And people kind of treated you a little bit more standoffishly. But I also found that they might be more willing to buy once you got through the gatekeeper. In California, it's a little bit more relaxed. If you walk in with a polo and a pair of jeans on, people aren't going to look you sideways, especially in Bakersfield. You know, I wore a suit on my first outside sales call out here. I never wore a suit again in Bakersfield. But because I got like 3 negative reactions to it in one day. But I also but the gatekeepers are a lot more friendly, but there's a lower chance that you're going to get a deal.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know what the reasons for that are, but it certainly was different. You know, I don't always find that Southern charm to be, I think it's more superfluous than anything else that people always talk about, that Southern hospitality.
Look at you, big housing it up. You sound like a regular Stephen A. Smith over here.
I truncated everything.
Superfluousness of the.
But, well, superfluous charm is a trait of the schizophrenic. But I do think that it is one of those weird things where, you know, you are going to pick up certain habits and certain characteristics based on where you come from. You know, like if we talk to someone who's from New Orleans or, you know, something like that, you're going to know they're from New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that defines them, but you might be able to make certain light stereotypes, like they probably like crawfish, but then again, they could have a seafood allergy. What do I know? Like, but also that's not a dangerous thing. Like, it's not a negative character value if I think you like crawfish. It's not going to cause you any harm.
I mean, it can still be a stereotype without being a negative stereotype, just like the math with Asians or the basketball and black people. Like, it's not negative per se, but still.
Well, it's negative for Asians. A lot of Asians do find it negative, especially if they don't happen to be good at math.
But it's not that Asians are dumb and they can't do math. Like that would be like a pejorative way of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
big word.
Pejorative. Like it's not being used in a way to demean. It's being in a way to assume that you're at a certain level. So I think it's also not true, but it's different in the way that it's used. You know what I mean?
So speak to me about the Kaepernick. I don't know if you've seen this show.
I just saw it on Netflix, like literally this afternoon when I was trying to.
You watched it, or you saw it was there?
I saw it was there. We ended up watching Antiques Roadshow in the UK instead.
You stereotyped the Kaepernick show. So
we like to we play the game where we try to guess. You know what I mean? You try to guess how much the shit is worth. We're like, oh my god, it's a fucking bowl from the Jing Dynasty. Fucking, I don't know.
Yeah,
$100. This is worth 12,000 pounds. Like, whoa, shit! Like,
yeah, I don't watch that. I can tell you for sure. But
it's
I was watching
fucking good fun, man.
I was watching Star Trek at that time. But the Kaepernick thing was interesting. Though I will say I didn't like the way they filmed it. Because it's like too bright. And like I don't like film noir either. Like when it's too dark. Like I like watching Titans, but it's just so fucking dark that like the film is so dark. Like half the time you can't even see what the fuck's going on. You know, and it's the same when things are too clear, right? Like so when you watch the Kaepernick special, like you'll see what I'm talking about. It's like super HD. You know, like
fucking
and it's
8K.
Yeah, and like I didn't like I that turns me off. Has nothing to do with the show, but
so what turns you
film
on?
Like regular, you know, like 1080p. I'm turned on.
Is that a generational thing where like 1080p is good? Like once we get I'll take a little 4K, but don't overdo it. But like
4K is fine. But like the first time that I watched. My mom and dad got a new TV about 5-6 years ago. And like this TV still has like the clearest picture I've ever seen. And like I remember they were watching one of the not the newest Star, like the ones from the 90s, right? Like the episode 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
The prequels. And I remember looking at it on their TV and like it just looked so fake. You know, because it was so bright. Like Yoda looked really fake. All the special effects look really fake.
It's too green. That's too red. That's too blue. Like it's just too much.
And that's the same feeling that I got when I watched the Kaepernick show. So I only watched the first episode, but what they talked about though was braids, and like how braids was like this social awakening that he got living with white parents, and like. I think the actress who played the mom, it had this whole Disney Channel vibe to it. But I think the actress that played the mom was did a really good job because she did a really good job, like of portraying a white woman who adopts a black kid, but then isn't particularly comfortable with black society when she gets exposed to it because she feels that she's been taught to think that it's dangerous, so she wants to shield her son from that, which. You have to respect the fact that she wants to shield her son, but you also have to realize what to shield from and what not to shield from. Just because you don't know it doesn't make it dangerous. And that's like what you see with like all the stuff with the caravan coming. Like, they're bringing socialism. It's different. It's scary. But the show itself focused on braids, and it really talked about Allen Iverson, and like how and they kind of attributed Allen Iverson's reputation to literally his braids and how he was treated differently after he got the braids and tattoos than before his first couple of years when he had a more like Denzel-ish haircut. So speak to me about that. Like what is it about cornrows and braids that you think people find so threatening?
I don't understand.
Though before you answer though, let me say one more thing. They also, though, because this will play into your answer. They also, once he got braids, all the white girls thought he was cute, where before they didn't like him. Like they showed like 8 scenes of like white girls just like smiling at him, like, "Oh, you're sexy." You know what I mean?
It's
But
that, it's that taboo, man.
But anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
I had braids, probably like, I don't know, a dozen times. I stopped getting them just because it fucking hurt. And I don't know if you guys have ever had your hair braided. Like, grow it out a little bit.
They talked about that in the show.
Find a black chick who knows how to braid hair, or a white chick that knows how to do cornrows. Just get one cornrow right down the middle of your head, and then you can take it out right after. Ooh, buddy, I'm telling you right now, that shit is, oh, and your fucking head's all fucking sore for a couple of. So that's why I stopped. But there was a difference in how I was treated in public, how people approached me and talked to me, because as soon as I had braids, everyone, it's like they automatically assume that you're a gangbanger or you're from prison, like automatically, like they just assume that, which couldn't be further from the truth for me. Like, it's just not who I am or what I do, but it is a protective hairstyle, which is, braids are good for black people's hair. It's good to have your hair braided because it protects it. You can moisturize your scalp better. And unlike white people, we don't have to wash our hair every 72 hours or 36 hours or wherever it is. Like that's actually bad for our hair. We need all those oils in there to keep it healthy so it'll grow better. And it's, what was I gonna say? Yeah, and I've been playing with the idea of getting, like, I got braids for the cruise. My mom did them, just some box braids that just dangle down or whatever. But I've been wanting to get dreadlocks for a long time. But I ran into this when I was in St. Louis, where I was not given opportunities unless I cut my hair. The guy just flat out said, he's like, I can't get behind you and try to promote you with you looking unprofessional like that, which is like a total fucking violation of like my fucking civil rights. But I had no idea at the time. I was like 22, 23. And until the Crown Act is passed, I'm not getting them. And the Crown Act is legislation which will protect people from discrimination against ancestral, indigenous, natural hairstyles. So then that's no longer a thing, and you can't discriminate on me for a job or for anything because my hair is shaped a certain way. Because that's how far the stereotype goes, is not only is your protective hairstyle good for you, but I'm going to tell you it's unprofessional. So then it turns into, okay, who decided what professional and unprofessional was? It wasn't a fucking room full of black women. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. My wife's company, she works for a big retailer. They have a policy. They don't have anything with braids, but they won't allow people to have colored hair that is anything other than
a natural color,
what they would call a natural color. Like, so if you have blue or pink, even highlights, they don't allow them to have it. And, it's same thing with like mohawks and like stuff like that. So it's like, and I find that to be damaging because like but like, remember like, well, you might be too young, but like when I was in my teens, we had these stores and they were like, we had merry-go-round and DJs, and a TiVo and stuff like that. There were like the hip stores where you go to buy your gerbos and shit at. Mm-hmm. And they like all the hot girls worked there, and all the guys were like rebels, right? All the guys had like mohawks or like a bunch of tattoos and stuff like that. So you always assume that these were like the cool hip guys, and then or the rebel guys, and then the girls, they only hired like the hottest of the hot women. But like that place went out of business. They didn't go out of business because of that. But at least I don't think that they do. But like you'll go into like certain big box stores and you'll see people dressed a certain way, and you go in other big box stores and you see people that they don't allow that, and they like cater to the customer, like whatever makes the customer comfortable. And I'm like, I always think that takes away from people's individuality, because they're being someone that they're not so that somebody else can make money. And I don't
And
like that.
and I won't say any companies in particular, but some that I have worked for, I have seen plenty of little white kids come in there with green hair, purple hair, blue hair, all kinds of stuff. But if somebody, didn't shave, it was a fucking issue. And I'm like, now what the fuck is that? Like, so the men have to shave, but she can come in here with a rainbow on her head. I'm not saying she shouldn't have a rainbow on her head. I'm just saying let's keep it fair all the way around the board. Like, don't yell at people for not shaving, and don't yell at people for having the hair that they fucking choose to have. Like, it's really not an issue. And I really hope this supply chain shit, number one, does a lot of shit for wages, and number two, it gets rid of a lot of this fucking discrimination shit.
It is
that's been going on, because you can't beg people to come work for you at this point, which is where everybody's at, and then also tell them you need to come work for me, please, 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 but also you need to change everything about who you are. And I always hate it, like, unless people have, like, I guess what would be deemed as offensive tattoos, like making people hide tattoos. You need to wear long sleeves, and we're trying to set this kind of image on shit. Well, then you don't want me.
Well, there are certain things that certain tattoos that, like, we had the guy from the Aryan Brotherhood on our show. He literally had white pride written on his neck, so he had to put a Band-Aid over it. I mean, he'd given up that lifestyle, but he still had the tattoo that said white pride on the back of his on the back of his head. You got to cover that up, put a Band-Aid over it. If you got "fuck the world" written on your neck, or "kill the Christians" or whatever it is written on, if it's harmful to someone, absolutely. But if it's a picture of a parrot or skull or something like that, who fucking cares?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it'll have to be some sort of line drawn where, that's kind of too much for us. Like, that's a little bit too much. But any tattoos, even if you have like a rose on your forearm because your mom's middle name was Rose, and you just lost her to cancer last year, so you got this tattoo in memory of her so that she's with you every day, cover that shit up. Nobody wants to see that shit. Looks unprofessional. It's like, fuck you. This is my fucking skin. This is my fucking body. Like, my tattoos, like, I mean, my t-shirts are usually right about here, and then like my work shirt is a little bit lower. I mean, I've worked with people 4 or 5 years and they never knew I had a tattoo. And I'm just lucky in that case where, like, mine's not visible. But I think it's between the hair and the tattoos. And
that was on purpose though, right? You got it in a place where it wouldn't be visible.
No, it just happened to work out that way. It's like right in the middle of my for you audio listeners, I have a music staff with some notes and stuff on there and some symbols. And
very unprofessional and very racist.
It's right in the middle of my bicep. So it's, my shirt usually covers right over it. Every once in a while, if I'm picking up something, it'll pop up. But people are like, "You have tattoos?" I'm like, "I have a lot of things you don't know about, young man. A lot of things."
Ooh.
But
you want to put a tattoo on your Johnson? Go ahead and do it. Nobody's going to see it. So,
good buddy of the show, Neil, the 604 Atheist. Hey, Neil, what's up? He says discrimination, talking about the hair thing. And me and him actually did a show on another channel talking about just this and talking about the Crown Act and things of that nature. But I mean, I'm glad Kaepernick's got a movie, but I'm still kind of like done with the NFL, and I'm kind of done with Kaepernick. Like, at some point, dude, you got to stop trying to get into the NFL, and you got to start doing the social justice work that you were talking about.
I think that's what he's doing here, and like I said, I thought the first episode was great. I think you'll like it. The only part that I didn't necessarily care for, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, was the analogy that they made between athletes and slavery, because they treat like you have, he pretty much characterized it as all sports, So like, I'm not sure that you could maybe you could characterize it that way with the NFL, but I think you'd have a hard time characterizing the NHL that way. And they do the exact same stuff with like psychological tests and background checks and stuff like that before they draft people and spend $8 million on them. And that's probably on the low end. So, but I got what they were doing, but it was a little on the nose as far as I was concerned. And like, I think the issue with it, and you'll see what I'm talking about when you see it, is that we need to get good messages to people who have the stereotypes and to change them. And it's hard to do that when you're that on the nose right away because they're going to tune out. So I'm kind of, but also if that's what you believe, you should be able to do that too. So I'm kind of torn on it, right?
Well, it is not my job to dispel any stereotypes in anybody else's head. It is their job to grow the fuck up. They're the one with the problem, not me. Like, that's their issue that they need to work out, and they need to seek out the help that is necessary for them. Like, I'm telling you, man, post Cruise Mikey is a whole new bro. Like, I'm not interested in teaching people how to be good people anymore. I'm fucking 34 and I figured it out. And I've had a lot of fucking shit happen to me. Figure your shit out. It's not black people's job or Asians or Mexicans. It's not, or gay or trans. It's not their fucking job to teach you how to be an adult. It's your job. And you don't get paid for it, and you don't get a gold fucking sticker for doing it. You're supposed to do this. Fucking get your shit together, people, because I'm Mikey Vaman for one, and there's a lot of other people right behind me. We are done giving fucking lessons on how to be a fucking appropriate person. Those days are over. If people have legitimate questions and they're wondering about things, yeah, I'll have the conversation with you on the side. But I'm not going to fucking make a series of videos of like how to not discriminate against people. If that's what you're going to stop your discrimination, then you're too far gone. If you need a YouTube video for it.
Yeah, but so here's where I stand on that. I think that we get so much of the negative stereotype, whether implicitly or explicitly, inadvertently or on purpose, pushed into our faces via the media and via television, that it's important to be able to frame good shit in places where it might be seen by people who think it's bad. The good shit is bad shit. Right. And I understand where you're coming from, but exposure to other cultures, to like people of other religions, people of other nationalities, etc., like that, those things can change perceptions. And it's like I used to be a conservative. I actively engaged people who disagreed with me, not because I wanted to change a view, but because I was trying to argue my view. And there were some things where I've realized that I was wrong for 40 years. Right.
Right.
But I think all of us have those areas, right? Mine happened to be political. Doesn't have to be political. It could be something completely, apolitical. But, you had yours with, I think I'm safe in saying you had yours when it came to religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but if you're not, not everybody is comfortable going out of their bubble. And sometimes you got to push the needle in the bubble.
So, okay. So someone needs to put a needle in somebody's bubble. That's perfectly fine. As a black man, I'm not going to push on white people's racism bubble. I am now delegating that task to my white allies. Because no matter what I say, they're still going to see long hair or braids or fucking sagging pants, and they're just going to dismiss me outright. So
yeah, you're right about that.
I'm done beating my head against the fucking brick wall. I'm just going to I'm going to do me. I do my best to represent my family, my wife, my shows, and my culture. I try to represent all of them in the best way every time I go outside this door. After that, I'm going to need some white allies to fucking step up. And y'all going to have to talk to crazy Uncle Larry, and y'all going to have to talk to Aunt Karen, who just likes to go off on Mexican chicks every time they're trying to do her hair. Like that's going to have to be a y'all thing, because I'm not going in your house. I'm not going over to dinner so I can have an argument. Like I would much rather just have a meal by myself than have to go and continually fight with people who see me a certain way. Y'all do that.
These anti-Karens are a thing now.
Anti-Karens.
Yeah. Like these, it's TYT does a whole show now on the anti-Karens, like people challenging Karens. Now I'm not saying that those Karens themselves change, but but I do think it's incumbent on white people to speak up in uncomfortable situations, be it the Thanksgiving table or whatever. And I can tell you that there's repercussions for that, because I have people in my own family who think that I'm a troublemaker. Yeah. You start the conversation, I tell you you're full of shit, yet I started the problem. And I can tell you that it's hurtful. So I understand that a lot of people don't want to do that. I get it, but you have to do it anyway.
Exactly.
And I'm not just talking about with race. I'm talking about political misinformation, vaccine disinformation, cultural disinformation, religious disinformation, because I don't think that a hatred of Islam is necessarily racist. I think that it is adjacent to that, because, they feel the same way about Muslims regardless of their color. But and with Jews too, right? Jews are, if you didn't know any better, most people would think Jewish people are white. So, it's so you have to do it with religion as well, even when it comes to atheists, because there's a lot of negative stereotypes out there about people who are atheists, that they're immoral and that they're godless and that they're communists and that sort of thing.
Technically, they are godless.
Well, I'm talking about godless in the sense of that they have no moral compass, right? So that's where I'm speaking from the perception of this.
I hear you.
Of the audience.
I was just like, yeah, godless. Yeah, you can keep that one. They are like, that one is correct. That one is 100% correct. They are godless.
Yeah. Okay. So I probably chose a poor word there, but you understand the point of where I'm getting, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't believe that religion has anything to do with morality. I think that whether or not we were created by God, and by the way, the guest is not joining us tonight. I missed the email where they had to cancel about an hour ago, or an hour before the show, and I just didn't see it. So my apologies on that. But we'll reschedule him if he wants. But where was I going? So I don't even remember where I was.
Something about godless, and then you were spawning off into something else.
Yeah, I don't remember where something else was. QAnon. But like I grew up with a negative perception of atheists. Like the word atheist to me was I know where I was going. It was like a bad word, right?
Right.
And you might have done that too. But like I don't believe that morality has anything to do with God. Whether or not God created us, how you worship him is a human construct. It wouldn't be a God construct at all, because if it was a God construct, then he would have everyone worship him the same, because he would be transcendent here.
And
but he is not transcendent.
We have a comment from the chat. Hello, by Curian Podcast. Hello, Aisala. QAnon is for sure godless. There you go.
Yeah, they certainly think that. I don't know who their god is, Zorkon the space god or something like that. But anyway.
Well, just one more quick thing on that. And that's another stereotype, because as soon as people find out that you're atheist, they automatically assume all these things about you. But it wasn't until I kind of gave up all organized religions and faith and spirituality and all that stuff, that's when I actually started giving a fuck about the person standing next to me. That's when I started understanding that there's 100 billion stars in our galaxy and 100 billion galaxy, or you know what I'm saying, like stars in our galaxy, and there's 100 billion galaxies, like, and there's only 7 billion people, and they're only going to live maybe 70, 80 years, period, and then they're going to be done. So every person that I meet, even if they're fucking annoying, it is a delight. It is a treasure. It is a rare thing in the universe for me to meet another person.
Present company excluded.
Excluded. But it's a gift to know another human. Like it is truly something that we kind of forget about in the whole, like, in the cosmic scheme of things. Notice my background. Can you guess what this is? And move to the side.
It appears to be a galaxy, but I can't quite tell which galaxy it is. It just looks like a straight line with some hair.
Some hair.
Some blue hair.
It's got some peach fuzz. Maybe a couple of
that
pubes.
picture could not get a job at that big box store.
Yeah,
they'd be turned away.
Not. No, that has to have a natural color wave, not a.
Yes,
but that's the Milky Way.
A sandy blonde.
Oh no, that's the cosmic microwave background. But they shot it through X-ray this time, I think. They got the X-ray filter on it.
It's all fake QAnon stuff.
But
fake science.
In the grand scheme of things, people are quite rare. As far as we know, people are quite rare. And we should treat them as if they are rare, and that we won't always be here, and we're lucky enough and fortunate enough to be in contact with others, and that's important to me. And I try to keep that in mind going forward. I never cared about any of that shit before because I was always just going to go to heaven. So fuck whatever happens here.
To be fair. And I've seen this anecdotally, that I'm glad that happened for you. I do know that same transformation can take place when someone, is like doing whatever they're doing in their life and they feel that their life is a wreck or whatever. And then they come to a particular religion. It doesn't matter which one. And then they can have a similar epiphany due to religion as well. So, just to be fair, the problem that I have with organized religion is its divisiveness.
Right, which is why I chose secular humanism, which literally cares about people and the posterity of people and the well-being of people. Like that, being nice and making sure that others are well and taken care of and fed. That is my mantra. That is my religion. That is my worldview, is making sure that other people have enough. Right. And just that, with no extra strings attached.
Yeah. And at its core, that's what Islam, Judaism, Christianity was intended to be, at least in its modern in their modern constructs. And none of that stuff comes from the Bible, by the way, because if you read the Bible, it's all about what is ordained to you, what you deserve. It's amazing to me how much that is socially unacceptable today is written about in the Bible and in the Quran, for that matter. And even in the I almost said the Kama Sutra, the Mahabharata, right? So even in the Mahabharata, I don't know much about other religions. I know Shinto does have a lot of this in it as well, but like I'm not an expert on Taoism or Sikhs, and those are religions other than what they are.
Say Tao with a D. It's Tao.
Tao. See, that just shows you I don't know that much about Taoism because I don't pronounce it with a D.
Just so you don't say that in front of everybody else, and then they make fun of you. Taoism.
But the idea that like morality, like, okay, let's say that I was debating Ben Shapiro, right? Ben Shapiro would tell me that.
So what do you do what do you do to him after you hit him in the face?
Is he more punchable than Paul Rudd?
Ooh, I don't know.
That's a close
Ooh,
one.
I don't know. That'll be our new game. Who's more
all right,
punchable?
who is the most punchable? Charlie
Oh,
Kirk.
no.
No.
There's only
I'm
one,
giving you these three.
There's only one
Charlie
answer.
Kirk, Ben Shapiro, or Paul Rudd. Which of those three?
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson's not a human.
He has the most punchable face. He is on the Mount Rushmore of punchable faces. It's right in the front. He's the George.
You think
Washington.
he's more? You think he's more punchable though than Sean Hannity? I don't. I think Hannity just he's got a big X on his head.
So let's do it this way. You do your Mount Rushmore of punchable faces, and I'll do mine.
Okay, so
you got Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk.
Jen Shapiro, Charlie Kirk. I don't even think I'd put Paul Rudd on that list because he is very punchable.
But he's not a bad person. He's just
it doesn't have to be a bad person. Because I'll tell you who else is on my list. Nick Cannon. That fucker. Like, I just want to punch Nick Cannon in the face when I see his big dumb got like face. That little,
yes,
he looks
to him all the time.
Like he's like, I know something you don't know.
Yeah, he's got that fucking face about him. Fucking hit you. Hit you with my hands.
And I forget the guy's name now. He's the YouTuber, the atheist YouTuber with the long hair. What's his name?
Could you be any more vague?
No, he's a big guy. He did the atheist YouTube where he's breaking down the creationist.
Oh, Aaron Ra.
Aaron Ra.
He's a friend of mine.
Okay, to let him know he's on my Mount Rushmore. That guy's face is
you want to punch Aaron? Aaron's a really good dude. You'd really like him.
Again, I'm sure Paul Rudd is too. But his face, when I see that big dumb beard, I want to kick it.
How you gonna want to hit on the homie? Aaron is good people.
He's not my homie, right? So, my cousin, for that matter, my cousin Alex, absolutely on the punchable face list. Like,
you can't use real people. Hold on now.
No, I love my cousin Alex, but he's got a punchable face too. So anyway, there's my expanded Mount Rushmore.
So I got Tucker Carlson. I'm gonna agree with Nick Cannon.
He's so punchable.
God, he pisses me off. And like I watched Drumline for the first time when we were on the cruise.
He's so punchable in that too.
You snotty little shit. You're just a little shit. I just want to hit you. God, you're so snotty. Shit, I don't even know. Ben Shapiro definitely makes the list. And
those cheeks would bruise up so nicely.
I could cut him. What's that? And honestly, Hassan Parker.
Oh, I got another one for you. Soil Blacko himself.
Oh, Cory Booker. I feel bad for Cory. Like, I don't even want to hit him. I don't even want to. It's just like, dude, just go.
He's a vegan. He's so frail.
I just mush his face. Just get out of here. I don't even want to hit you. Just go. I'm done here.
I'm not gonna hit you, Cory. But when you back up away from me, I'm gonna kneel behind you so you fall on your ass. That's
the old okey doke.
Yeah, there are a lot of women I would like to put on this list too, but I cannot because
I'm not saying that shit.
Perfect. Nope, I'm not going to. But let me just say, there are a lot of women who I'd like to have my wife put on her punchable face list.
So if you guys want to know what's on our female version of the punchable face list, go to patreon.com.
All right. So you got anything else you want to talk about before we you want to debate church versus state or something? Like, obviously we have no guests. And let me just say, whenever this is like the second or third time we've been on a show together, we always have such good shows. We've identified the issue, right? Like, we know what the issue is.
What do you mean?
It's Big Haas.
It's not Big Haas.
Speaking of punchable faces,
I'm not punching Big Haas. Are you crazy?
What if you don't admit though?
What if you don't go down? What if you don't go down?
No, you got to admit
though. In a world of hurt.
You got to admit it. It is a little punchable.
I'm not punching his face. I like Big Haas's face. He's got. I
know I'm punchable. I definitely have a punchable.
You know what? When I go to the fucking Terror Dome and a motherfucker tells me 3 sets of some shit, and I thought I only had to do 1. It looks a little punchable.
That's how he gets you. He'll say, "All right, 1 set. That's all you got to do." Okay, I meant 2.
This is how
one more.
This is how he gets you. He gives you 1 exercise. You're like, "Oh, okay." He's like, Okay, cool. Now try this. Oh, no big deal. Now try this. Well, that was a little tough, but I did it. Okay, 2 more sets of that. I was like, oh, all of them in a row. Damn, homie. I thought you was the man, homie. You did me dirty. Ugh, but it's
Caught me
working.
riding dirty.
He definitely caught me riding dirty.
Oh, we totally forgot. Donald
I'm-
Trump, winner.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean
sure.
there's nobody.
Oh, what's his face? Mitch McConnell.
No, I don't want to punch Mitch McConnell. I just want him. He looks dead already. I might kill him.
Here you go. So this came out probably 6 hours now since the show started, but video of fatal police shooting of Michael Craig released by the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. I'm not going to play any of this stuff. I will drop the link in the chat for everybody who is watching live, and I will drop it in the private chat so Dutch can put it in the show notes. Booyah. So pretty much, you guys got the link. You guys can see this. This is from a reporter from the Chicago Sun-Times. Essentially, a man called 911 after his wife put a knife to his throat, and he called 911 and he said, "My son's going to be downstairs. He's going to hold the door for you guys. I can't leave. She's got the knife right on me, and I can't move right now." So the police show up. Officer runs up the stairs. He's got a taser in one hand and his firearm in the other hand. The guy, he finally gets up. He runs up the stairs. He gets to the cop. Runs upstairs, gets to the door, kicks the door open, sees somebody streaking across, and lights that person up. Well, that was Michael Craig, who had already been stabbed several times by his wife. He did everything that he was supposed to do. He called the police. He didn't try to get the weapon away from her and murder her. He did everything he could. And the police still kicked in the door and shot him. And instead of applying medical attention, they just let him sit there and bleed. And he died from his wounds. I think this happened in October, the beginning of October, and the footage was just the body cam footage was just released by the COPA. And what they're kind of a lot of the reporting for it has been that excuse me, that the larger message being that we have to change the mindset that not only women are victims of domestic abuse. And this man was clearly in distress. He reached out for help. And even though she had a knife on her person when the cops arrived, the cops did nothing to apprehend her right away. They didn't talk to. It was bad. It was all bad. And it's
Great.
And it's awful that this man had to lose his life for literally being on death's door already, called for help, said, "My son's going to come let you guys in. This is what's going on." And I don't know, like, what do you think? Is this the 911 operator's fault for not explaining to the cops exactly what's going on? Like, what do you think about this?
What I think is that police officers have a difficult job. I get it, but it ain't that fucking difficult, right? Like, I have a gun right there. If it would take extraordinary circumstances for me to go get that, right? Like, extraordinary circumstances. And when you call the police, you're calling a gun. It is what it is. You're asking for a gun to be brought to your place. I don't know if, like, remember Watchmen?
Yeah.
The first episode where, like, and I'm not advocating for this, but, like, you know, where the guy, the officer knew that he had come across a gang member with the Rorschach mask, and the guy at the panda bear head, he's like asking him all these questions to be able to release the gun from the gun lock area, right? But, like, maybe we should stop arming police officers with guns and arm them with just tasers. Like, a taser is more than adequate 90% of the time. You know, I'm so tired of these stories. You know, like there's been a few of these stories lately. One of them was, of course, got the most outrage was, you know, a white kid who, I forgot the details, but he like was on an ATV and broke down the side of the road. And, you know, when the cop pulled up to see what was going on, the kid was running towards the police car, and the cop didn't just turn around and fucking shot the kid. Right. So it's like, you know, and then you had that one with that autistic kid, and it's but it's so magnified when it comes to people of color that it's just not something you can look past. And what irritates me is that is that these cops have qualified immunity. Like,
Right.
they don't have any consequence for this. Sometimes they might get a criminal charge here and again, but like, maybe we have to do something where we reward police officers for, like, you know, if you don't kill anybody this year, you get a 10% raise. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box, because it's like we have to figure something out. And I'm sick and tired of every time that I say we need to change the way we police people, that people tell me they have every excuse in the world for why it's fine right now and why police are heroes. This cop is not a hero.
But I think you're trying to square a circle right now. A cop should have been there, maybe, but a social worker should have been there. A psychologist should have been there. And
That's
like
that's right.
everyone's mad about defund the police, but this is a perfect fucking example. This woman she was later taken to the hospital for mental illness. That's who needed to be there. Someone who can de-escalate and get her under control and talk to her and figure out, okay, she's suffering from this. I could probably diffuse it with this. And that, like, they're clinically trained to do these things. This dude is sprinting up the stairs akimbo with a fucking taser and a fucking gun. Number one, how the fuck is that in the fucking police training manual that you should pull both weapons sometimes? Because you know what, I'm surprised. Well, what they ended up putting in the report was that
did he have his baton in his teeth like a pirate too?
Like,
I mean,
like what are you doing right now? Like, calm the fuck down and be in charge of the situation. Was this as a use of force report in the section listing the subject's actions? The officer checked the boxes for did not follow verbal directions and physical attack with a weapon. He was unarmed. He was his wife had the knife and had already stabbed him several times. So he had gunshot wounds, and then when they did the autopsy, he had stab wounds. She was doing all the stabbing. He didn't have a weapon. And it also says in the section, reason for response, the officer marked defense of member of the public and subject armed with a weapon. It was the wife, not him. It can't always be that I just didn't know. I just didn't know. Because what that turns into is I can no longer call the police. Like, if my wife is lovely and mild-mannered, she's very timid, but on the low hilarious, which is why we get along so well. But if for whatever reason me and her got into a scuffle, or if me and her are playing Mario Kart or Mario Party or something like that, and we're yelling and screaming at each other like, "Oh, you suck!" and we start throwing shit, and we're having a good time because we're drunk and high, and we're having a good time playing this stuff, and the neighbors call the cops, they're not coming in to shoot her. They're not coming to detain her. They're coming to eliminate the threat. And as we previously discussed on the show, I am the threat. I will always be perceived as the threat. And then this is what the report says. That he didn't listen to commands and he had a weapon. Both are not true. I watched the fucking tape.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't listen to commands because he's running from someone with a fucking knife. So he's running from danger to what he would perceive as safe. And
away, just away from her.
Yes, away from the danger. And that's the thing. That's why I said you're calling a gun into a situation, because you are. And sometimes you need that. Like, I can understand it in this situation. It might have been plausible, but you're precisely correct. You know, we've talked about this many, many times on this show where, you know, police should have police officers. They could still be police officers, but also licensed practicing social workers, right? Who are trained, go to school to get the training to be able to de-escalate situations and have a degree in that, not a 2-hour course. Yeah. You know, and have them and hire them as police officers and have them, I don't know whether you would arm them or not, but like if you have to have the police structure the way it is right now, because that's so important to you, hire police who are qualified to de-escalate situations, not people who, with all due respect to the military, you know, we're in gunfire in Afghanistan.
And that's, you know, a lot of the cops are vets.
And it's and that is not a negative statement towards those people in any way. I'm just saying PTSD is real, right? And different people with different trainings are going to be better at doing different things. We have a spectrum of people with talents and abilities. And the police, I'm not aware of one police department that only hires people. I mean, at least make them get a fucking associate's in psychology. You know what I mean? Like yeah. I don't know how you change this, but like the best way to do it would be to have the police department staff social workers.
They need to be
right along. Them out with them.
They need to be right along. So if someone is a clinical psychologist or something like that, have them take an EMT course and then make them right along. So it's not just good cop, bad cop. It's supposedly good cop and helpful advocate, de-escalator, because that person is important in these high stressed situations where it's literally someone's life and death based upon the twitch of your finger and based upon your instant reaction. You need someone to put that hand on your shoulder, like, yo, hold on, I got this. They need that person. And if you don't have that person, and it is chilling to listen to the 911 call. It is chilling.
I can imagine. Because I haven't heard it. I'm not sure I want to.
He's trying to be very calm. He's like, she's having a thing. She's got a knife on my neck right now. I need y'all to send somebody out here. My son is downstairs, and that's the other part of this. The 7-year-old was in the house.
Yeah. So now this kid has no parent.
Yeah.
Thanks to, and I mean, he may have been in that situation anyway if the mother had killed the father, but that's not what happened. So what did happen is this kid has now 0 parents because the mother is going to be locked away, at least for some amount of time, and probably not able to see her child. And which maybe she shouldn't. But I was in a situation where I was abused. I was abused by my first wife. You know, I wasn't the greatest husband in the world, I'm sure, but you know, she abused both my daughters, and you know, the woman cut my fucking ear off. Okay, so she literally threw a bottle of shaving cream at me because I was sleeping, and she didn't like the fact that I was sleeping after I got home from work. So while I was asleep, she threw a bottle of shaving cream at me, and it hit me. You know, the bottom of the shaving cream can is sort of circular. Sharp. Yeah, it hit me on my earlobe right here and cut this whole lobe in a circle. It's right there today. There's a scar. Literally cut my ear off. And that was incident 1 of about 7. Right. And I was like, you know, she never, other than that time, she never hurt me to the extent where I couldn't handle it because I was a guy.
Right.
Right. But, you know, she fucking cut me with a bottle. She did a bunch of shit. So I know how it is. And, you know, when the police, the 2 times that the police came, guess what? I got arrested both times too. I got let go,
Right.
but they arrested both of us both times that they came out there, because like, well, it's your story against hers. I have blood on my
Right.
ear, on my leg, etc. She doesn't, but she says that you restrained her. You had her in a headlock. You're goddamn right I did, because she had a fucking knife in her hand. So you're goddamn right I had her in a fucking headlock.
And again, that's another instance where it would pay to have a de-escalator, somebody who's trained in psychology to better, and maybe, and I know I'm putting a lot on this imaginary person that's coming there. And well, I think cops should have this too. You need some sort of knowledge, like a deeper understanding of the law and how the law works. So it shouldn't just be, all right, these two are fighting, lock them both up, take them out of here. There should be somebody documenting the scene, collecting evidence, doing this and doing that to prove everybody's case. Because all that stuff's going to come out in discovery anyway. But all that stuff needs to be recorded and accurately documented. But that's not what happens. They just fucking start grabbing motherfuckers by the hair, ripping shirts, fucking titties flying out, and they just handcuff people and throw them in the back of the squad car, drop them off at the station, and they just go back out and do it again. Like, it can't be that. It can't be.
Yeah, rinse, repeat.
It can't just be the goon squads here to fucking, you don't want to de-escalate? I'm going to de-escalate it for you. And I'm just beat everybody ass. And I got the bigger dick. So now I'm in charge and you're going to listen to me. You're going to put your hands back, give me your ID. It can't be that, because people are more complicated than that. And if you don't treat people like complicated, intricate beings that they are, you're going to miss all that, and mistakes happen. And when these mistakes happen, there's a lot of times you can't go back and fix it. There is no settlement. So what are you going to do? Pay for the fuck? You're going to give the kid $125,000 because the fucking cops killed his dad? Like, what does that do for, like, that doesn't teach him how to fucking throw a football. That doesn't teach him how to shave. That doesn't teach him how to drive. Like, that's his life that is missing now. So this shit has to be thought of beforehand. You have to think about it beforehand.
And that's the problem that we have when we equate police with the military. And again, I'm not digging on individual people who served in the military. Some maybe, but like the whole idea of collateral damage as being acceptable is a problem. That's old school. That's not the way we should be doing things today. And Obama pissed me off to no end with all his fucking drone strikes. Obama killed more Muslims than any other president, right? Or more Arabs, I should say. Not necessarily all of them were Muslim, but like you bomb, there's a terrorist in a building, so you bomb the building. It turns out there was 9 kids there, but the greater good has been served because, and then our perception as Americans is, and has been for a long time, well, they were third worlders. So they really weren't contributing to society like I am.
Not my kids.
Yeah. So, it's, and that's an American issue, not just American, but I live in America. This podcast is America.
It's a first world privilege. It's a first world privilege.
Right. And it's like, so, and then we have these areas within our own country that are deemed third world, and collateral damage. Like if somebody came and said, we're going to stereotypical Compton, right? Like I literally, Compton is 4 minutes away. It ain't anything like the stereotypes that you see on TV, but but like if someone were to take stereotypical Compton, from Juice or whatever, and they were to say, here, you know what? We know that there's 40 street gangs and they're killing people every day in Compton. I'm making a hypothetical here. And the U.S. military said, we're just going to eliminate the threat. Boom, bomb Compton. Compton's gone. It's off the map. All the gang members are dead. So is everybody else in Compton. But the gang members are dead. There are people in this country, and a lot of them, who'll be like, well, sucks. It kind of sucks, but gang members are gone.
But they even distill that down to a person level. So when there is a George Floyd, or where there is a I start the list bracketed. I start the list of 50 people who have been unarmed and killed by the police. Black, white, or indifferent. They say, well, they should have just complied. Well, they should have just been not third world. Well, they should have just been, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always, well, they should have just been. And it's the same time, like, the wife made a great comment earlier, because the same people who are talking back to blue and Blue Lives Matter and all that shit are the same motherfuckers who also want to say mask mandates are against my constitutional rights and the COVID is a hoax and all that shit. And you guys are all sheep for doing that. But at the same time, they'll fucking march lockstep with the authoritarian force that's killing their American citizens. They're patriotic above everything else, right? Except when it comes to certain parts of this country. And they don't stand up for them. They stand up for the authority.
On what?
Stereotypes. And we have gone full circle, baby.
Yeah. All right. So before we log off here, I got to do one more thing. I'm going to share my screen here.
Oh, no. Make
All
sure
right,
it's the right tab. We don't want to see that.
No, it's always the wrong. You know, that joke's a little old. But anyway, so big ups to our friend Alan Ellison. He sent me a message the other day. And he said, I don't know, can you see my screen here? Yeah, you can, right?
No, let's do this. Look, they got a new thing here.
Okay, so the so big ups to Alan Ellison. He sent me this. He said, oftentimes people sell products with my name and likeness without permission. I hope this is you and not someone trying to get over. Remember, he sent us a picture of himself and it kind of went semi-viral.
Oh,
so he sent me this link. Yeah, he sent me this link and look at this.
Can you?
Okay, hold on a second. Let me share.
Move it down.
It opened a new link. Let me do this.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm just going to share my whole screen. All right, so share my entire screen. That way I can change
Windows.
Come on, computer.
Earl Grey tea, hot.
Yeah. It's not.
Computer.
Why there? Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, now. Sorry for the. All right, so here we go. Look at this.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
we've been got.
Oh, and watch this. It gets, as Haas likes to say, there's more. Dig on America T-shirt.
That's not ours.
No, these aren't. But this is just Google, so ignore this.
Okay.
All right, so here's our authentic site.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Different site.
T-shirtat.com. What the fuck?
Yeah, don't worry. There's more. Look at this guy here.
What the fuck?
Who's old boy?
Who is this?
From T-Chip. Who's old girl?
What the fuck? Do they just like
we are all over the place, dude. Like I found at least 15 websites that are selling Dig on America gear.
Oh, hell no.
And
hell no.
So
hell to the no.
I actually ripped some of their photos and put them on our fucking website because I thought they were good photos. And they can go fuck themselves because they stole our fucking design. Now, I'm torn on this though.
But they are sending.
They are advertising for us, right? And there was this one guy who went so far as to take the QR code off the shirt.
No, see.
So now you're gonna take away our QR code.
You're gonna take bread out of our mouth? Okay.
Yeah.
And if you're here because you hit the QR code on one of these bullshit ass fucking mock t-shirts that are not official Dig on America fucking shit, welcome and please stay. But we will be taking down the motherfucker that sold you that shirt. I'm just gonna let you know that right now.
And believe me, we're not alone in this. I'm sure this happens to a lot of people, but a celebrity, and Alan is a celebrity. The guy's got 200,000 Twitter followers, and he's probably going to be a senator. If he wins the primary, I think he'll beat against Val Deming. I think he'll beat Rubio for sure. But so people are like, "Oh, must be a popular podcast." Joke's on you, asshole. But the
gotcha, bitch.
but the funny thing is they like I am a little torn because I'm like, hey, if somebody just saw it and they're like, hey, we're gonna just buy this T-shirt, I'm down for some.
No,
like
because we don't get no bread off of that. Fuck them.
But I get that, and it's wrong. But like the $2 commission we would have made ain't gonna change my life either.
That's our
but,
$2. They don't get to make our $2. That's our money. They don't get to take that. They are not right in taking our $2. I don't care if it's a penny. It's not your fucking penny. Maybe talk to us and work out a deal with us if you want to license out our shit. And we can discuss that as adults. You can just take our shit.
Yeah, I mean, they could have contacted me and said, "Hey, can I sell your shirts? We'll give you $2."
Are they fucking? Did they pay? What's our homie Quantal? Did they fucking play Quantal? No.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And not only have they stolen from us, they stole from Quantal too.
Yeah,
because that's his design.
We found him and paid him, and he made the artwork. That was our contract with him. What if he sees that shit with the fucking QR code and his shit changed and all that shit? Like that's not right.
Yeah. So I mean, anyway, if you want to buy the real shirt, you can just Google "Dig on America" T-shirt and click on the one that is from TeePublic on our page on TeePublic. I think it's teepublic.com/user/Dig on America podcast or something like that. I don't, but you can get the link if you go to digonamerica.com. And which by the way, I redid the website as well. And actually I'll share my screen and show that because I do think it's decent. So let me go back to that original page and I'll type this in right here. Redo the website a little bit. Kind of optimized for mobile. So I made it a little bit of a darker theme. So all you gotta do is just come down here to
our shirts are on sale.
Yeah, they're on sale today. They're on sale for like more than we sell them for. Put a little BLM propaganda here. You know, they sponsor the show, BLM Marshals. You can now here's what you can do. If you go to digonamerica.com, guys, all the links are here. So you can follow us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. You see our beautiful mugs.
Hold on. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and then I'm gonna put it in the private chat for you to put a thing.
And look what there's I stole these. I stole these from them, and fuck them.
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the link you gave out, people won't find it. So it's not TeePublic/user/ like that won't take them there. The link will be in the show notes, and it's in the live chat if you guys are looking for merch.
And you, so again, the quickest way for those on audio who don't have the links, digonamerica.com, go there from your phone, scroll down, you can sign up for the Patreon. You can get gear, links you directly to our page, which is on TeePublic. Those are the designs that Quantal designed. We uploaded them to TeePublic, and so on and so forth. So
we can't do nothing without motherfuckers jacking our swagger. Yeah. Swagger jackers are rampant in these parts. Internet is a crazy place.
Yeah,
crazy place.
But it's astonishing how many places there were. There were numerous ones. So
they probably got bots set up to just jack shit and then like steal the logo and put it on to like a model or whatever that is.
Well, some of them did some work because some of them got the alternate logo too, and like I said, one of the old boys took off the QR code. He's like, "Nah, man, I ain't putting the QR code up on here.
That's some bullshit.
I'm gonna take all your money.
You're gonna put that QR code, you little motherfucker."
Yeah, you didn't take off the QR code. I'm like, I'm kind of okay, but take away my QR code, I'm not okay. Now, totally not okay. Because you're just being a complete ass clown.
Use a dick. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. So Patreon. Let's just give the banner for Patreon real quick. Patreon.com/Dig on America. Next week We have Brian J., progressive candidate in Michigan. Week after that, we have Lauren Hubbard, progressive candidate, battling against the infamous punchable face of Devin Nunes. And hopefully we'll get Haas back, but I'll let Mikey close it out and talk to Big Haas as he does so. Center stage yourself.
Oh, no, that's not necessary. This from our good friend Tons of Mice. He says, my DOA shirt has a QR code on the back. People are constantly scanning me. That might just be because you're sexy, Tons of Mice.
Yeah, they're actually taking pictures of your butt.
They just want to see that sweet donk. That's what they're really, really interested in. But again, guys, if you guys love the show or hate the show even, and you do enjoy supporting independent media who isn't beholden to corporate PACs and all their shill money, we won't take it. We get all of our funding straight from you guys. So first of all, we thank all of you. And second of all, if you want to join the lovely legion of people helping to keep the show running, please go to patreon.com/digonamerica and give us your entire month's paycheck in one lump sum. Don't stretch it out over months. Just give us the whole month. Please and thank you. And I think that's about all we got. So
if they do hate the show, though, we'll make a deal with you because we are QAnon, as we've said. If you hate the show that much, if you hate QAnon,
yes,
us, right?
Yes,
me and him. If you sign up to the Patreon for $1.5 million a month for 3 months, we'll stop the show.
We'll stop it. That's the only way.
You will effectively have silenced us.
Can I play the humidor because I feel like I want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to hear it. I just want to hear it.
Welcome to the Humidor with Big Haas. Find out what Haas is puffing and drinking tonight. If you try his suggestion and you die, that is natural selection. And the DOA podcast is not responsible for you being weak fucking sauce. So now, the one, the only, Big Haas.
Today I'm eating key lime pie and vaping and vaping blueberry raspberry lemon ice from Fruit Monster. It has a very I get a little nuttiness,
earth and leather,
a little leather, and then I take a bite of my my beef stroganoff. And a little bit of the leather comes out.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
3 leaves.
I got the Mr. Fog going right now. It's raspberry, green apple, watermelon. Everybody loves that shit. And as I take a sip of my Pepsi and Coke, because rum and Coke was
I got the Uncle Remus and Gatorade Zero.
Yeah, that wasn't on sale this week, so it's Pepsi this time. But yeah, this Max Pro is
They was all out of RC.
Dude, is it me or is RC a mixture of Coke and Pepsi, but it's flat?
I could probably agree with that.
That's exactly.
I bought a 12-pack.
It tastes like Coke Pepsi that is flat.
I bought a 12-pack of RC, and my wife avoided it like the plague.
It's nasty.
I don't agree with that. I think RC's fine.
It's pretty much the syrup from one, the syrup from the other one, mixed in the wrong combination with carbonated water. It's just, I hate it. And I've like Prino's, shout out to Prino's in Bolingbrook. That was my favorite greasy spoon that taught me about gyros and Italian hot dogs and all that stuff when I first came up here from St. Louis. But they had RC and I fucking hated that shit. It's fucking gross.
They had it on tap at Mr. Submarine, and it was that was the shit.
That's a very Chicago thing. But
yeah,
in the meantime,
anyway,
we're all done here. We're done making fun of Haas. Sorry, Haas, don't kill me later. We had to do it though, man. We had to do it. So for Big Haas, Jason Dutch, I'm Mikey Famine, and this has been your Dig on America.
I have the most punchable face.